Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kudo here, or your boy Spaz on Reddit, and today for you I have a little machine here that makes some falling blocks. So let me turn it on real quick just to show y'all. Boom. So the whole purpose of the machine is it will simply take these falling blocks, so this can be any kind of sand, red sand, gravel, or any color of concrete powder, and it will dupe them and throw them into the end dimension. So one special thing about this is it'll give the falling blocks momentum to the side when they reach the end. So they'll be able to fly off the end platform, and you can then move the blocks into a concrete factory. So if you don't want a concrete factory, then you can use a 108K design by just simply taking some hopper minecarts and just shoving them into the end platform in order to get the items themselves. But if you do want the physical blocks in order to convert them into concrete by just shoving them in some water, just so you can just like shove them into water in order to make the physical concrete blocks. Now it'd be more sophisticated than this, but you can automatically make the concrete, move the blocks into special positions, and then automatically just generate the concrete itself instead of having to manually place concrete into water and then break it. The machine basically works by taking these 6 different rows of falling blocks and just looping them around in a little feed tape into this end portal, and it manages to do it faster than most traditional designs because instead of waiting for a single row to move back and forth, it can just load in the next row while the other one is falling down the chamber. So see, this little green thing gets moved along this tape until it gets shot back up over here, and it allows this whole machine to produce a total of 72,000 falling blocks per hour. So it'll produce 12 every 6 ticks. Right down here, it's using a 3-tick clock, but it'll only activate every time this torch turns on. So this torch will be on for 3 and then off for 3, totaling 6 ticks. If you want it slower for some reason, you can always change the timing on this little clock right here, and it will work slower. It just can't go faster than a total of 6 ticks. Alright, so the part you've probably been waiting for, how the hell do you build this thing? Alright, so the materials list is as follows. The concrete here can be any opaque building block. The redstone dust, pistons, slime blocks. The slabs here can be any kind of slab, and the powered rails can also be activator rails. Those don't really matter. The rest of this is pretty obligatory except for the lever. If you have some other way of activating or deactivating the machine, that's on you. Oh yeah, and almost forgot, this magenta glazed terracotta can be any color of terracotta as long as it's terracotta. So the first thing you'll want to do is you want to find and activate a stronghold. That's pretty obvious because you need the end portals here. And then once you do, you'll want to break these frames either by growing a mushroom on top of it, depending on what version of the game you're in, or you could just use the normal bedrock breaking techniques in order to get rid of those blocks. That's all not too difficult. And then you can get on to actually building this thing. So the first step of actually building this thing is going to be to place a few blocks directly underneath this portal right here. And I'm going to be using different colors of concrete, so it'll be easier to tell like which side of the machine I'm on because it's not entirely symmetrical. So start with this one, and then you're going to want to place a ring of pistons around the around this end portal right here. Whole set of 12 of them. like so. And for now, you can get rid of these, they don't really matter. So, first part. The second part will be to place another set of blocks directly underneath these ones, like so. And then to place directly underneath those blocks a layer of sticky pistons, like that. And then some redstone dust can go on top of here, like that. So the next step after that is going to be to make a little ring in the center here. Oopsie. And then to place some pistons below that ring, and all these pistons are one layer below these sticky pistons. And then break that middle ring. And then underneath here, you're going to want to place a total of 10 target blocks with this little hole right here. And I'll explain this hole later, but for now, this is the next step. So you're going to want to take note of where this little hole is because the build itself is not symmetrical, so this is going to help make sure that everything's built right. And the next step is going to be where we diverge from the symmetry a little bit. So we're going to build a few slime blocks, a couple blocks over and a couple blocks above these blocks behind these pistons here. So like so on all of these sides. And then you're going to place redstone blocks on the same corner as the hole. So on the side of these slime blocks are on the same corner as this hole. And then on the sides opposite the hole too. So like that. And then now that we have these set up, you are going to want to place some top slabs on here, or chains or end rods. Any one of these three will work. So you could have a build with a bunch of end rods pointing inward, or some chains like to the side, or just regular slabs on here. Any one of these will work. The materials list that I gave you earlier assumed that you'll use slabs because they're the cheapest, but you could also replace two of those slabs with some chains or some end rods if you felt like being fancy. And then on the sides with of the slime block rows with the redstone block, you are going to want to place a piston behind that. So like so. Piston, piston, and piston. So everything like that. So next we're going to set up what's going to power these pistons and what's going to power these pistons. So first you're going to want to place some rails, so either powered rails or activator rails, right next to all these pistons on the corners between the redstone blocks. So like that. And then on one of these corners, you're going to want to do that, and then you're going to make a little plus shape like that, and then bring it out a little bit. And then on the other one, you're only going to need to do that, and then do it symmetrically. So like that. And then like this. And then going to need to get a comparator, some redstone dust, and a couple of repeaters. So this is going to be brought out inward. This is also going to be brought out inward, and these are going to be powered by a comparator that's on subtract mode. This one too. And this is also going to be powered by a comparator on subtract mode, and also powered by a comparator on subtract mode. And from there, you're going to build out a little 2x3 rectangle, and you're going to make sure that both sides have access to this rectangle. And then same thing over here, like that. And then you're going to want to fill a little lopsided cross shape on each side like this. And then have a 2-tick repeater going into the sides of each of these comparators, like so. And then these are going to be powering a block, these repeaters, and then these blocks are going to be powering these pistons. Extend a redstone line from that block and a redstone line from these blocks, which is going to finish everything for the upper portion. So next we're going to worry about this midsection right here. So first I want to address what's going to be powering these pistons over here, and why all these target blocks are here, and why this little hole is here. So you're going to want to place all this redstone on an inside ring in a little circle minus this one corner. And then in this corner, you're going to place it one block below and make a little L shape like that. And then from here, you're going to want to build a little spiral staircase that's 4 blocks high. Bring out some more slabs. And then you're going to want a slab right here. And then you're going to want a slab right here. Now, instead of slabs, you could also have like glass or stairs or some other transparent block that allows you to place redstone on top of it. So that's all well and good. And down on underneath this slab and 1 block over, you're going to want to build this little thing, put some redstone on it. Then you're going to put a redstone block on top of there to the side, and then a regular block on there. This regular block and this redstone block are each going to be attached to sticky pistons. And then next to these pistons is going to be a couple other pistons. So these 2 pistons right here. And then powering these is going to be a repeater on 1 tick. And then you're also going to want to take these, build it out a couple of blocks, and then powering this is going to be a set of a few repeaters. You have 1, 2, 3 repeaters on 2 ticks, and then 1 repeater on 1 tick, and some redstone going into that. And then we're going to build a little staircase. We're not going to put anything on top of it yet, but just build a little staircase that goes all the way down here. And then over on this side, we're going to do essentially the same thing, except we don't have to deal with that little corner. So we're going to take a block here, put a slab right here, put another slab right here, put a block here, and then a slab right here. Put another thing right there, and then redstone block, blocking block, and then take a couple of sticky pistons, boom, boom, and a couple of redstone regular pistons like that. Both powered by a repeater on 1 tick, and then having a little thing over here come out 2 blocks, and then into this little line right here, you can have 1, 2, 3 repeaters on 2 ticks, 1 on 1 tick, and then a couple of things connecting the 2 with a staircase like this one over here, going down and around like this. And next we'll begin to deal with the lower section. So I'll bring my fancy colored blocks back and start building out. So you're going to want a 1 block ring around these target blocks. And then after that, you're going to want to place some terracotta, like so. No, this one isn't facing up. There we go. And then right to the diagonal bottom corner of this terracotta, you're going to want a few slime blocks. So, and then where the corners of the redstone blocks up top are, so where all these redstone blocks are, you want to add 1 extra slime block on those sides, and then you want to place a redstone block on top of those extended slime block bits. And then underneath that, you're going to build a piston, put a piston there. So, and that'll complete the whole loop physical structure. Now we just need to finish up all this wiring, so that'll come up in a second. So next, on the corner with the spiral staircase, you're going to want to take out some blocks and some more rails. And then this one right here is going to be to the side of this piston, a couple of rails like that. And over here, you have a rail line facing the same direction, except this block's going to be dropped down 1. and between them you're going to have a bit of redstone dust. And then over on this side, you're going to do a pretty similar thing, except this is going to be perpendicular to this one, and then you're going to just have a block facing in between them. And next we'll build the actual timing circuit. So we're going to build a couple of blocks like that off of the base of this little L structure. And then into that, we're going to be having a redstone repeater, which is going to be powered by a redstone torch like that. You're also going to need another redstone torch on the side of this block. Build out a couple blocks like that. Redstone repeater facing into this block. You can put a lever, so this is going to be the lever that controls if the machine is on or off right there. And then put another repeater facing in this torch, and it'll create a little clock. So turn it off by just powering this lever. And then from here, you're going to have 5 blocks, little bar with some redstone on it, and you're going to have a repeater on 2 ticks right here. And from here, you're going to make a little 2x3 rectangle, like so. 2x3 platform, then repeater on subtraction, or comparator on subtraction mode facing into this, with a 2-tick repeater facing in the side, and then a bunch of redstone wiring it up, like so. And then on the other side over here, you're going to have a raise right here, which is going to be powering a repeater on 2 ticks. It's going to be powering another repeater on 2 ticks, another comparator on subtraction mode. This is going to raise up 1 block. It's going to raise up another block, like so, and then this is going to be powered by a 2-tick repeater. And then this side over here is going to be just simply hooked up to this staircase right here. Then finish off this wiring. And then over here, this repeater this torch right here that's doing nothing is going to be hooked up to this redstone line. But you're also going to need a repeater right here. And that should complete all of the physical circuitry. So if I flip this right here, you can see all of this should work. All I'm going to do is fill it with sand, so fill it with the falling block of your choice, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I filled this whole thing up with some sand, and now if I activate it, boom, all of the falling blocks go right into this portal. And I currently don't have a chunk loader active, so you need a chunk loader somewhere nearby in order to keep this thing running if it's not in the spawn chunks. But now I don't want to break it, so I'm going to turn it off because these chunks are going to get unloaded. So I'm going to go through this portal, and we should see that all of the blocks we just duped just fly out here. They're all in one entity right now, so it doesn't really make a difference. Let's see multiple of them. But yeah, it's the same thing as this thing over here, which will, because this is in the spawn chunks, it's going to stay loaded. But this, which produces the falling blocks like that. Now, when it comes to this thing, it is pretty fast, although I believe in theory this thing could be faster. Right now, the main things that are keeping this thing from going any faster, so from using a 4-tick clock or even a actual 3-tick clock, are this piston right here, which needs to be extended for long enough for these sand bits to snap onto them, and also they need to be down for long enough in order for these little sand bits to fall through them without breaking them. These could probably either be changed or have their timing removed, or having their timing changed, or the pistons themselves can be removed in order to increase the speed of the thing. And you're also going to need more physical falling block rows in order to even feed the machine that fast, so this right now requires 6. If you wanted to make a 4-tick clock, it'd require 8 or 9, and then a 3-tick clock would require a total of 12 rows in order to keep the thing fed properly. And the other thing preventing me from increasing speed on this thing is the speed at which I can get the sand to fall this one little block here, because while these 0-tick pistons are pretty fast at moving the blocks, if I fire this piston too fast before this block hits the ground right here, it'll end up breaking this falling block, so it won't get cycled back into the loop, and it'll eventually stop the whole loop. These butted pistons, though, they will not stop the thing from going faster. They can go down to a clock of 3 ticks before they're a problem, but I don't think it's physically possible to do a clock of 2 ticks, otherwise this would need to be changed out. But I believe the fastest possible clock may be 3 ticks. 4 ticks is probably possible, so you could get 108,000. 4 ticks would be 108,000 per hour, and 3 ticks would be 144,000 falling blocks per hour. But so far, this was the simplest method I came up from. And also, if you wanted to improve this thing, the wiring on this thing is most definitely not optimized. You could probably optimize the wiring on this to reduce the amount of redstone you need and to reduce the amount of lag this thing produces slightly. Besides that, this thing, I believe, is a pretty good machine. It's an improvement over the RaiseWorks one, which is that general design. It can only produce 36,000 per hour, maybe 43,000 per hour if you tick optimize it, but besides that, yeah, I'm pretty sure if you just need a good falling block duper for a concrete factory, then this is, yeah, this is pretty good. So I think that'll finish up this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I may have more in the future, so like if you liked, subscribe if you subscribe, comment for the algorithm, and yeah, goodbye.